Thank you, Karine. Jared, I have two questions, if I may. The first is on the overall economic agenda. You point out that economic growth has been the best of any administration since the turn of the century. You've had consistently better than expected economic data for the last 4 years, but yet Americans, by and large, don't give the administration credit for that. And in a recent poll by the Associated Press, 7 in 10 said the economy is going in the wrong direction. Why do you think that continues to be the case?
Well, I said in my comments, and I've said every time I've talked, either it's from here at the podium with Karine or out there in front of the cameras, probably in interviews with you as well, Kayla, that prices are still too high for too many people, for too many products, too many households. And that's why our cost-cutting agenda is as urgent today as it was yesterday or before we got any of these reports. There's no economic report that is going to make any of us say, oh, well, we don't have to worry about that anymore in terms of cutting the cost of drugs or health care or health coverage or housing or child care. I mean, those are serious structural issues where we have an affordability shortfall in housing and child care, and the president and vice president have robust plans to go after them. We need Congress to work with us on that. And in my view, that is nothing like a red or a blue issue. You cannot find a state in this country that doesn't need more affordable housing and more affordable child care. And I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find plans that are more robust than the ones we've articulated to add to the supply of affordable housing and add to the supply of affordable child care. So we just need to roll up our sleeves and work together on those issues on behalf of the American people. At the same time, I did mention that consumer confidence spiked in October. I don't want to over-torque on 1 month, but we do see an upward trend. And I think that upward trend, while it's not where we want it to be, it's moving in the right direction. That's what I mean when I say building on the foundation we have. I think that upward trend in consumer confidence, in sentiment, while not where we want it to be, our work is not done, is telling us that easing inflation, strong growth, a solid job market, and real wage and income gains are helping to reach American households, but our work isn't done.
The difference in the ideologies and the platforms of the two candidates for office through the perspective of outside analysts. And I know that you can't comment specifically on the election, but given that GDP is backward-looking data that goes through just the end of September and the fact that this election has been in a dead heat in recent weeks, I'm wondering in some of the more real-time data that you look at, if you're seeing that election uncertainty play out in any consumer or business behavior.
I think that, well, here's a really arcane way of answering your question, and then I'll try to speak English. But the arcane way is, and feel free to go ahead and test this, I believe that if you put the economic indicators that we've been generating in almost any election model, it would show the incumbent party winning. All right. Others have done that. You can look at those models. So I think that I don't necessarily buy the idea that these are necessarily backward-looking indicators. To be a little technical, if you look at one of the line items in the GDP report today, private domestic spending, which is basically consumer spending plus business investment. Consumer spending plus business, take out net exports, take out inventories, take out government, take out a lot of the noisy stuff, and look at the core of the private economy, again, consumer spending and private investment. It was up 3.2%, higher than the GDP, which was up 2.8. The reason I reference that is the best predictor of where GDP is heading. PDFP is what we call it. We've written about it on our website today. Please read the CEA blog and follow our tweets. And that's a forward-looking measure. So I feel pretty confident in those assertions.